Hello there, welcome to Dan the Gaming Man's initial thoughts on Wartales. I'm Dan, and let's start by introducing the game we'll be discussing today. Wartales is a tactical role-playing game that was developed by the French developer Shiro Games. They're most famous for Evoland and Northgard, and it was published by Shiro Unlimited. It's available on Microsoft Windows and Nintendo Switch, and the PC version, which is what I've been playing, was first released on the 12th of April 2023. It was recently added to the Xbox Game Pass for PC, so it's worth checking out. The game requires the player to take control of a small group of mercenaries as they travel through a world recently ravaged by a magical plague. The game features an open world, and players are allowed to just explore and carve out their own adventure. If you're into survival games, crafting items, turn-based combat or a rich story, then this game may very well appeal to you. So my experience of the game, upon loading it up for the first time, I was presented with a few options to select from. Firstly, you have to choose your destiny in the way of cards, and they look a bit like tarot cards. The first card requires you to choose which group of companions you want to take with you. There's several combinations that will fill out your group of 4, and these include spearmen, brutes, rangers, swordsmen, and archers. The second card asks you to pick a strength that will grant you bonuses as you play through the game. These include having your companion's constitution raised by 10%, or having your critical damage increased by 10%, to name a couple. The final card asks you to choose a weakness or a debuff, including reducing the carrying capacity of your team by 1 point and having critical hits reduced by 3%. Once through that, I was asked to choose between 2 options for my exploration mode. You can choose an adaptive exploration mode that allows you to explore freely and promises dynamic difficulty changes as you travel from region to region. The second option is region-locked exploration, which I would assume makes the game a little more linear, even though it's an open world. You can then choose your starting region, combat and survival difficulties, and there are 3 options for save mode, which are limited, free, and Iron Men. Following the setup, the last thing to do is to customise your team of companions. 4 of them plus a pony. You can edit their names, something I opted to do, as a few preset names would have been impossible for me to pronounce. It's a good feature though if you're the sort of person who likes to name your characters after family and friends. In addition to being able to edit their names, you're also able to change their appearance, their hair, skin tone and clothing colour. So getting into the game, I found moving around the open world environment easy enough. Several sparkly lights highlighted places to investigate to obtain resources, something that I believe you'd require a lot of as you proceed through the game. It was basically a case of clicking your cursor on where you want your group to go, and then they would stroll in that direction. I did find a few occasions when I needed to click my desired location several times before they followed my order, but that didn't really bother me. Within a minute of loading up the world, I was thrown into a battle. Some very basic instructions were given via a pop-up, but other than that, I had to figure things out for myself. And I guess this battle is designed to train new players quickly, as you have a 4-on-2 advantage against what I assume are low-powered enemies. Within a few minutes, I got the gist of what I needed to do, and made short shrift of them. It's turn-based combat, so if you're a fan of XCOM or Banner Saga, like me, you'll enjoy it. Each character has a couple of actions they can do from the off, and you can add to them as you play through the game and develop your characters. They'll get more skills, so there'll be more options during combat. Visually, I liked the game. The movements of the leafy shadows in the breeze, as well as the sunlight falling through the gaps in the clouds, are the sort of attention to detail that I love to see in games. There are road signs that play a part in helping you navigate through the world too. Just clicking on one shows you what you'll find in each direction. And there's some fairly decent voice acting when you arrive in small locations like stables, taverns and marketplaces. There are people you can interact with for spending coin on supplies, agreeing to take on missions, and even recruiting mercenaries to your band of merry men and or women. I should also talk a bit more about the audio. The music fits the low fantasy aesthetic beautifully, setting the atmosphere as you explore this intriguing world. Also, as mentioned, the voice acting is pretty good, and so far for me features a host of British accents, which just immerses me even more into the fantasy world. Is it just me that thinks this? Comment below. Overall, I think this game has a lot going for it. It's got a lovely art style, fitting audio, elements of customizability, and a rich story and a world to explore. I look forward to delving deeper into this game. How about you? Have you played the game? What were your thoughts? Have you finished it? Comment below with your opinions. This was my first video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing and turning notifications on so you can see more content from me in the near future. Stay safe and keep gaming.